You know, a lot of times people want a project and it usually doesn't cost a whole lot of money on the initial purchase, but the next step after you buy it is where the struggle begins. If you'll notice, there's, let's just say, some moisture in the floor and it's marking its territory. Now, the concern that I have is whenever we were pouring in antifreeze into here, it was flooding out up there. And I'm a little afraid that it may have a freeze plug that's pushed out of it. And it's not just a water pump. So I don't know if we're going to even be able to save this motor. We're just going to tear it down to see if it works. And it's a 87 square body Chevy long wheelbase 2-wheel drive pickup truck. It's got a big old V8 motor up in here. And that's where the problem is. And I'm not real sure if we're going to be able to save this thing. It may be broke beyond repair. Now, whenever we got this thing fired up here a while back, we found several issues as far as the ignition system goes, and we corrected those. And then we got it started. And it was running somewhat better, but not perfectly. And after it sat there and ran for a minute, next thing you know, it's got fluids pouring out of every which way. The gas tank was leaking, making a massive amount of a mess in the floor. And then whenever we dumped coolant in it, well, it too started pouring out. So now it's time for us to dive into it and see if we can fix this thing or to find out if it's just scrap iron. Well, we wound up getting the water pump off and we found the problem. Obviously, small block Chevy water pumps are kind of notorious for having a little CPO problem, if you know what I mean. So I'm glad we pulled this thing in the shop. But let me show you this little problem we found. On a small block, you've got these little holes here and then usually one down here on the bottom. And you can tell that ours has been leaking for a while because of the amount of corrosion. And you can see where it also is leaking running down through here. The top one, it's kind of the same way. It's got a lot of where you can see the rust has run out of it. Now, as Hammer pulled this thing off and was declaring victory, I seen something that kind of made me go, whoa, that's awesome, because of the problem. You flip this thing around and it has a giant hole in here. You can see all of that funk. I don't know if it rusted through or if the water pump, basically the bearings went out in here and it wore its way through it. But that is our problem. That is why this thing, when we started putting water in it, it was gushing out. I was scared to death that this thing had freeze plugs that may have been pushed out of on the front side of the block. But that's our issue. So, quick trip to the parts store. We can get one of these because the water pump we picked up is the wrong one. So, with that problem, it's no big deal. Finding this problem, big thumbs up. So, big guy, what do you think?
That's a lot of work.
Yeah? From the dirt that you got on you, it kind of shows.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking about freeze plugs earlier. Right here and right there is what I was kind of afraid was going to be our problem. But they're good. They're greasy as heck. They're good. So, yep. We ain't no need to do anything here except clean up and put that fancy water pump on it. But that ain't my job. That is that man's fault.
Hey, wait, what? My fault?
Well, we finally got the correct water pump. And next thing we're going to be doing is installing the new one. Now, with that said, one thing that can be a little bit aggravating, and that is trying to hold your gaskets in place while you're installing the water pump, and you're trying to hold it and put bolts through and all that kind of nonsense. So, got a little simple tip for you. It makes things go a bit easier, and it just takes a few minutes. And if you do it like right now, it really doesn't cost you any time at all. So I'll take this off. Let me grab a sealer. Now I've just got regular old RTV here. What you want to do is take a little bit of this stuff. You have to check the waterfront surface. Right here's where the gaskets go. You want to make sure they're nice and clean. With it being brand new, they usually really are clean. Smush some of this on here. Now, some people tell you that gasket sealer's not used or not needed. Some people tell you, oh, it's a must. Me, I've done it both ways. What I've come to the conclusion of, it's a lot easier to put it on now to help ensure a better seal than not put it on there. And then next thing you know, you got a leak. All I'm doing, like I said, is just kind of smushing it around all over the surface. Notice it's just all slathered on there. And then place this one on there too. Find a rag. And then here's the secret. Take your water pump, and on a flat surface, just simply let it sit. Just like that right there. It doesn't have to sit very long. You just let it do its thing for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. That will almost bond those gaskets on there enough so you don't have to like hold them. They'll be stuck there. So just that little tidbit. Another thing that we've got to do is take off our water pump studs. And this can be a little bit of a chore, and sometimes it can be super easy. What I like to do is reuse 2 of the nuts that hold the fan blade on here. You kind of spin them on like this. Spin them together. And then use a wrench here on the bottom to hold this one stationary. Take your little impact, socket, wrench, whatever. Tighten them against each other. Not kill yourself. And then reverse your socket. Spins it right out. Not too shabby. And pick this thing up nice and slowly. Look at that. They're stuck. They don't fall off. Works pretty snazzy. Here's where it gets a little tricky, cameraman. I usually like to put one in on each side, and the top ones are the easiest to see. You left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. See how that one just barely started?
Yep.
We'll take this one and go all the started. If you can find your extension, you just set her up there, and you got to line this bolt up with that hole. It'll be easy. Don't slide your gaskets around. Let me get it lined up. I think that one started. While you can swap ends or whatever, and then use this and screw your other bolt in there. Let me get you a light. Dude, you're making this look easy. You know, they say cross threads are tight threads.
Huh?
If you think it started, you can put your ratchet on it and just see. Where's your short ratchet? It's over here. Now, if that dude goes in and it has gets angry, starts getting tight, we might as well stop. Is it pretty easy? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get your other 2 bolts started before you get too carried away. Is that one of them? All right, cool.
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the only long ones we had. Hope we didn't lose the 4th one. Ah, here it is.
Do these go in the short holes? Like down here and down here if there's one?
Yeah. What do you think about changing the water pump by yourself? Think you could do it? Think you could do it again after this time?
Let me get one more assisted one maybe.
Oh, this ain't too bad, big guy.
I feel like I'd forget how to do it.
Oh, you're pretty good with the memory and that kind of stuff. So, you know, you got that big fancy phone with you that you always keep in one of your hands like most of you young folks. Could have took a couple of photos as you were taking it apart for reference. Now go ahead and run your bolts down, big guy. Just like snug, don't tighten them. Just get them where they're all the way run up. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go look to see if we have a plug for that water pump or if we gotta take the old one out. Well, we got a progress report. Mr. Hammerman has kicked this square body's tail. Yep. Let me show off some of his handiwork. Right now he's putting the upper radiator hose on. Got the belts on it. Water pump in it. Alternator bracket all tight. Whenever we were looking, we noticed that this thing didn't even have a thermostat in it, so we had to go grab one of them. So after that, we're pretty much ready to put some coolant in it. What do you think, Hammer?
I'm excited.
Awesome. So what's the first thing you're going to do in a square body?
Drive.
Man.
I'm excited to work on the interior too.
Yeah, what do you want to do in there?
I know we have the new like dash set.
Right. Make it pretty.
Yeah.
You want a comfy seat? Carpet or vinyl floor? Remember our four-wheel drive had like the rubber mat?
Yeah.
Or do you want fancy carpet?
Carpet?
That's cool.
It'd be funny if we did like red carpet with like gold lining.
Whoa.
But just like $3 gold thread from Dollar Tree.
You on a budget, I guess.
Yeah. Balling on a budget.
Well, we wound up hitting another snag. As we were doing some inspecting on this thing, Hammerman noticed a pretty big little leak, and it's up under here. Yeah, and it's further back on the engine than what we were anticipating. You can kind of tell by all the drippage right there in front of the jack. So we're gonna have to slide up under here, and I have a sneaking suspicion that up there in the engine we're gonna have some freeze plugs leaking. Don't that sound just okay? I'm not excited. Not excited at all about this. So, grab me a little light here. Let's fall up under here. Back here from this angle, looking at that thing. It's been leaking pretty good. See what I mean? That's like parallel with the fender. That's way back. That's not what you want to see. Corrosion and funk. This thing's got a block heater in it. That's odd. See the coolant? See the corrosion? See all that and the antifreeze dripping in my hand? That way up there is a leaking freeze plug / block heater. Ain't that gonna be awesome? That's sarcasm. Now, how all this is gonna work, I don't really know. Except for, I am probably gonna get a bath and antifreeze. I'm gonna try to refrain from cursing. So we're just gonna get the poking and the prodding. This is one of them kind of jobs. Oh, that's cool. That's actually just coming out of the wire. It's not even the freeze plug yet. Okay, I'm at light. I'm gonna say I'm gonna need a bath after this. Seeing a poking and prodding, pull it. Crap. Let's see him. Hammerman, I need a flat blade, bro.
Getting a little drink.
Yeah, buddy. Got rust falling in my eyes.
Want me to get you some glasses?
That would probably be wise. Holy cow. Oh. I got it off then. Please tell me you were rolling.
Yep.
Ah, that sucks. Hammer, give me that drain pan.
Okay.
Awesome. I need a paper towel. Super fast. Dust fixing to be coming down, told me.
Is that your pre-shower?
Right. So, on this episode, I don't really know what I just did. I can tell you that sucked. I wonder if that thing had like a concrete anchor in it. Glad you went and got me them glasses and I didn't even put them on. Ugh. Dude, that thing smells like block seal.
Show the camera what we got here.
Look at that crusty thing, bro.
It looks disgusting. It looks like a tongue sticking out.
Voila!
No, that's it. You see all this funky, funk and junk?
Mm-hmm.
That's where his thing was leaking. And they had put block seal in it, like stop leak, trying to fix it. Right there's the problem. The O-ring has some corrosion on him. So we're going to do away, in the temperatures we in, there ain't no reason to have one of these. We're going to need a freeze plug.
What is that?
It's a block heater. This is like on my Cummins. You plug this thing up when it gets cold outside, and what happens is this heats, and it keeps the water in the motor warm so that it won't freeze. Or when you get into it, like when it's really, really cold, the motor's warm. Yeah. We don't need one of these. I need to clean that up
Yeah.
and get a freeze plug. This thing's pretty bad. You can see where the O-ring's cracked. Man, it's funky. Smells bad too. That's a big problem. Today's a new day. We swung by the parts store and grabbed a few parts. Now, what we just had was this little freeze plug heating element gone bad. So I picked up some steel freeze plugs, a rubber expansion plug, and then some brass freeze plugs. Now with these brass, they're usually a little bit easier to install, and where this thing's at, it's kind of in a, let's say, an awkward place. The exhaust manifold is really close to it. And whenever you drive in a steel plug, sometimes these can be a bit more difficult to do than these softer brass ones. And if I can't make that brass one work, I got the thing that's gonna save the day. This is a rubberized one, and it's got a nut here on the back. And what happens is as you tighten that nut, this expansion, or this rubber part expands, bites into the surface in there. And we can make this thing work, but I want something a little bit more, let's say, permanent. Now also, I think is over here is some Permatex gasket shellac. This stuff is almost like maple syrup. This thing has been rusty for a long time, so I don't know if the bore that it goes in is gonna have some corrosion in it. And sometimes you can use the gasket shellac combined with one of your freeze plugs, kind of slather it in around there, drive it in there, and when this stuff kicks, whoo, you dang near need a grinder to get it off. So that's some extra insurance. Now it's time to fall up in there and get my antifreeze shower and clean up the thing what we can. I'm gonna use some of this fancy 180 grit sandpaper to kind of sand that surface out to clean everything up. And then hopefully we can drive one of these into place. Right up in there is where we've got to drive it. You can see what I mean. There's not a whole lot of room. And there's a bunch of corrosion. See what I mean? It is funky. So it's time to do some sanding, and hopefully it works out. I don't know how easy this is gonna be. Who are we kidding? It's not gonna be easy. No, gotta have a positive attitude. This is gonna be so easy. About 10 minutes later, we'll be done. I just wanna make sure it's good and clean. Now if I can find my sandpaper. Kind of get comfy here. So now we got some time to catch up. How's your mom and them? That's cool. She doing all right? That's good. Yeah. Ever since the surgery, everything in surgery go good? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. I'm gonna use a rag. And a bunch of cleaner first. Oh, geez, Louise. This is where you cue the SpongeBob 30 minutes later.
2 hours later.
We have sanded it up and it looks way better than it did before. So now we're pretty much ready to try to install one of those plugs. I don't know how this is gonna go, except for we're gonna give it a go. Here we go. So, grab this little brass freeze plug. And what I'm gonna do, stick this socket on there. Let's just try to fit this thing. Whew. It's gonna be one of them kind of days. Try, just see what kind of angle that's at. It's not a very good angle. I don't think I'll ever be able to drive that dude in there. Just put the hammer up in there. Yeah, no, it's gonna have to have the rubber one. It's not gonna work at all. So basically, if you'll notice, there's about 2 or 3 inches between the freeze plug and the exhaust manifold flange. That means you can't drive that dude in there. So I'm glad I picked those up, and you never know. This whole thing may end up getting a set of headers on it, and if we go up for that upgrade, that thing will come out, and then we'll have room. That's later down the road. At least doing it this way, we'll be able to see if we can get the thing running. It'll come up to temperature and make sure that the motor hasn't froze and busted and cracked or anything like that. So sometimes you just got to build this stuff in like stepping stones. Well, we got that thing back down on the ground and we're ready to start dumping in some coolant on it. We had this thing running a while back. It wasn't running the greatest, but it was running. And so with it pouring coolant out of it as bad as it was, we kind of stopped. So grabbed us a funnel. Yes, sir. And hopefully this stuff doesn't pour out on the ground like it did before. Yeah, it was bad. So bad. But found the problems. Now, yeah. Now, Hammerman, if you did your job right, we'll be okay. Yeah.
I was going to get a better grip, but I did not trust myself to one-hand this.
Oh, that's just water. That's fine. Dump 1 gallon of water in there. That's cheaper. If all that stuff starts pouring out on the ground.
That caught me off guard. I was like, ain't it supposed to be green?
Right? Stop for a minute. No, it's just the radiator making noise. All right, that's cool. Whew.
Target practice.
Yeah, you know, it might not be even a bad idea, Hammer, to just put water in it. Well, no, let's go ahead. Let's do it. We're gonna put 1 tablet in this thing, but I bet there's like 90 tablets floating around in that motor.
What was that?
That stop leak.
Is that what you're talking about? Like you had so much of it that...
Yeah, it had a bunch of gunk in it. And more than likely it was where somebody was, you know, dumping that gunk in there.
Full thing?
Heck yeah. It's gonna be thirsty.
Yeah, it's neon green.
Oh yeah. Or antifreeze green.
That would make sense.
Hold on, let it burp.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Hold on, let it settle down. Let it go down there and just do its thing for a minute. Let it settle for a second. Well, I guess we could go ahead and put the battery in it, big guy, and it's gurgling. See, it's draining down.
Yeah. Keep pouring or?
No, just let it do its thing. Let it fill up, and we'll put that battery in, and then we can crank it up.
So put the cap back on?
No, just let it do its thing. Guys, I'm pretty excited. My little man's helping me with this thing. This is his truck. Well, I guess you say I'm helping him with it. We've been tinkering on it, trying to get it fired up. Now we're about to start it, and hopefully we got this thing, the coolant leaks fixed. And if it is, we're going to put some fresh gas in this dude and see how it runs, and maybe even take it for a test spin and let that little guy actually drive it. All right, dump you a little in there, about 1/4 of it, 25%. Go ahead. That'll be good. And then once it cranks up and runs and circulates for a little bit, dude, we'll top it off with that one. What are you sitting in it for?
I don't want to start it.
Do we need to put fuel in it?
No, didn't we put some?
I'll let you think back. What were we doing?
I know we changed or fixed the tank.
Cut the key off, big guy. Let's dump some fuel in it. Dude, this thing needs a bath. Look how funky that gas filler neck thing is. Looks like you're struggling a little bit, boss.
I was expecting it to start pouring, but it was not.
Okay, you know this has to go in the flipper.
Yep.
There, I'll help you. All right. Look at you go. We'll open that up so it'll breathe. Is that racing gas?
I think so. Don't we have airplane gas in this at one point?
Shh, that's breaking the law. Some of the things you have to do, experiences for coolness, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
You think that guy on NASCAR that dumps it in there in like 12 seconds says, "Oh my gosh, it's so heavy"? No.
He's used to it.
He's like, "I'm awesome. This is cool."
I'm like balancing my weight with it somehow.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta like stand there and just grit. Now you're not. You're just standing there holding it. It ain't even pouring fuel in it. Rookie.
Let
me see how much is left.
It's chugging.
It's chugging when you tilt it up. Kind of like force feeding it now.
So with gas pumps, when it stops, does it like detect it?
Yeah,
I thought so.
it runs up into there. All right.
That should be good.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping we don't have anything exciting happen. With some fuel in it, we probably ought to turn the pump on, let it cycle a time or two. Make sure it don't have gasoline pouring out like we did. So hopefully our fix is actually a fix.
Okay, so just start it.
All right, what the heck? Give her a run, see if it'll start. Make sure it's in park though. That's it. Pump ain't working now. Heck yeah, start it up. It's idling. Maybe it'll stay idling. Crank it up again, buddy. Probably should have checked the oil before we started. Click, no, I don't want to change it. I just want to check to see if it's got any in it, like any in it. Sitting here thinking about this, dude. We need to dump magic juice in the gas tank, and then I got a can of it. Fog his motor, and it's gonna fog it out, something crazy. It might help him injectors and lubricate all that stuff. This thing's been stove up for a minute, so yeah. Now, what we're talking about is, you guys I'm sure have heard of those magical cleaners that like loosen everything up. These folks ain't paying me nothing. I mean, I ain't getting paid for this stuff. But guys, some of the seafoam stuff seems to work some miracles. And there's some other companies out there that offer products a lot like this. It's a concentrated cleaner, and it don't sound very sexy. It don't sound like, oh, this is awesome. But Hammer, if you want to grab that other can, they got this stuff that comes with this fancy little hose. What you do is you hook up one of these into like a vacuum port. They make some that is a spray, like this one is. You see it's got a little nozzle on it. And you can just simply spray it straight down the throttle hole or the throttle blades or the carburetor or whatever. Or you can hook that hose up to a vacuum port and let it draw it in, and it is gonna smoke like the dickin'. But you gotta make sure that everything is warm, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna crank this thing up. Hammerman right now is in the process of dumping some into the gas tank, and just pour in there nice and slow, because it'll pour out with that flapper, buddy. It ain't nothing like, let's call it high tech by any means. But I am here to tell you, The camera needs to adjust because it's so bright out there, but this thing is going to smoke like heck when we apply this technique up here. That one back there, that just basically runs through the fuel system, helps dissolve any issues. Let's hope this thing runs well. We're gonna try it. We just gonna stick her in there, cut. Oh yeah. That ain't working. Not that way. Is it smoking yet? Smoking yet? Take this and throw it away. There we go. Y'all saw it just a minute ago. Really start puffing a bunch of that junk out. That mixture of stuff. Whew, looks like we got an exhaust leak up here under the middles. It really works well for cleaning those exhaust valves and the combustion chamber. All that stuff, kind of the inside of it. And that's a concentration version of it. What was funny is as we were sitting here spraying that stuff, it actually showed me that we've got a donut gasket down there leaking because it's actually blowing all that junk out of it too. And this side you can hear it. I think it's the exhaust manifold is what I think it is on this side. So we'll have to fix that because you can see where it's kind of puffing out. So we'll end up having to pull them off, but we may swap them out for a set of headers. What do you think about the smoke, boss?
It's a lot.
Oh, it is a lot. So we're just gonna let this thing kind of sit there and run, let that cleaner do its thing, and then potentially take it for a cruise. All that smoke actually means it's doing pretty good. I didn't really know if we were gonna be able to do what we did, actually accomplish what it was. I was a little worried that the motor was bad because of all the water that was pouring out as bad as it was. We actually threw a few parts at it. We got less than $100 in all those parts, and we got this thing running pretty smooth. Next thing we got to do, fix a bunch more junk. The next thing is I don't know if it's gonna clean up, but we're gonna have to try. Need some tips. Y'all let me know, other than painting it, of course. Budget-minded tips. I'm on a budget here. Kick me something. I'd like to see it. You know something, tips or tricks, shoot them my way. Woo! Hope that smoke clears up. Got that little half fine over there working on a pickup truck. We did some tuning on it, and we did a fuel system treatment, and we did a water pump install, and we did all kind of stuff. Found a lot of problems, fixed a few of them, and now he wants to go for a ride. And I told him we can. Only one issue, and that is I gotta have a place to sit down. So he's cleaning the truck out. And then we're going to strike out and see what it's all about. Let that little boy declare some victory for this hard work and future hard work. You kind of gotta get them boys excited about that stuff. But I have to tell you, he sure is. So if you're curious about what's all shaking down, all you got to do is search me, the Tommy Boshers. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We've got restoration here in the shop, C10s, hot rods, muscle cars, all the goodies. And, well, you could say we have a good time.